Is it recording?
Sorry I was a bit late this morning. One of my cows was calving and my wife was having a bit of trouble. I was delayed. A couple of announcements. Next Sunday I'll be preaching in Waterloo, so your class leaders will hold services in their homes. And the Sunday after that I'll be in Flamborough preaching, so Calvin Moore will preach at his house just south of my settlement. An annual conference is coming up in February, and we will be needing men of impeccable character to fill the roles of exhorters and deacons. And this Wednesday, there will be a love feast held at Malachi Sager's house. Now, some of you may have already heard the good news that the terrible war that has gripped Europe and this continent for the last 3 years is ending, and that peace negotiations have commenced. May God inspire the negotiators to build a lasting peace in the spirit of God's kingdom. While the war here in Upper Canada has been filled with horrors, men killed, towns, villages, and farms burned, brother fighting against brother, why, I even heard tell of a man who, upon learning of his brother's death, fighting on the American side, declared that it served him right for fighting for the rebels when all the rest of his family fought for King George. Even members of our own community here were drawn into the fight, including some of the Sipes family and my own brother Aaron. The accounts from Europe have been unimaginably worse. At the Battle of Borodino in Russia, there were 80,000 killed, the bloodiest battle in modern history. Hundreds of thousands of Russian civilians also died, especially after Russia, in desperation to slow Napoleon's advance, adopted the scorched earth tactics, which led to mass starvation and cannibalism. This war has been especially tragic because it has been a war of pride. There were no good reasons for this war, and there are never good reasons for starting a war. Although many supposed Christians will come up with justifications from the Bible, saying David was a man of war and a man after God's own heart, yet David was not considered perfect by God in any means. He committed sins and was punished for them. He was not worthy to build God's temple because of the bloodstains on his hands. Look more to David's fight with Goliath, where he rejected the weapons of war given to him by King Saul and chose 5 stones instead. Christ has given us 5 stones that we should arm ourselves with: truth, patience, faith, hope, and charity. Man-killing weapons always turn back against their owner, just as Goliath's own sword cut off his head. We wish to educate our sons averse to military fame. God allowed David's son Solomon to build the temple because he fully pleased God and never went to war. And God also granted him a reign of peace. And Christ especially taught us to love our enemies and turn the other cheek. And contrast this spirit of Christ with the spirit of war that we have seen. When Napoleon's men were marching, starving through the snow, they would strip the clothes and valuables from any man who fell while he still lived. This is what a spirit of war leads to. And so, yes, we must reject the weapons of war, as David did when he was younger and wiser and still fully in God's favor.